Hello, how are we doing today, this morning, this afternoon, whatever time you're watching this live or on YouTube? I'm JoeG Guadagno. Most people call me JoeG. Thanks for joining us. Sorry, I'm including my glasses all of a sudden. When the screen gets bright, I notice the smudges on it, and smudges are very distracting when I'm looking at code. Last couple days on the stream, we've been working on updating, or I should say, I've been failing to update my Azure Helper package that works on Azure Blob Containers and queues to add in the new Microsoft Identity framework to it. So we are looking at this package here, and we've been making some tweaks to it to allow for authentication. So I added some stuff in last week on it to try and get it to work, and it was failing and failing miserably. We got past the authentication locally, and it was authorizing. We had to add a bunch of configuration stuff to the environment variable because I'm using Rider and I haven't figured out how to get Rider to pass the Visual Studio-ish cookie that happens behind the scenes. So I've been working with the environment variables to test it out. Well, I'm running our test program application, which simply downloads an image to downloads and then allows us to show it to validate it. Found out that it wasn't working. We're getting some weird authorization header missing. And I was watching the Microsoft Identity stream this morning, and something that one of the presenters mentioned, something about tenants that triggered something I was thinking about last night, where the client credentials we're using sits in one tenant where the storage library sits, or the storage container sits in a different container. And I was wondering if that was causing the problem. So we're going to try, they kind of confirmed that it would on the stream. So we're going to try and figure it out and see if that's the issue. So if we look here on our portal, we're in the coding with JoeG tenant, and that's where we created our application registrations, and that's the only thing we created in here. So we are now going, I'm going to try to create the storage package in here and then validate it. I can actually move it over since the app doesn't work right now because of the package and the security. I'm going to just move over all the apps with it to this new, or to this tenant, and see if that works. So let's go and try that. I'm going to switch back to my default directory. I didn't realize when I first started this that the tenants really meant that much to it. So that was my bad. I'm going to see if I can actually move the object, move it to another subscription or another resource group. So why don't I do this? I'm going to copy out the name and I'm going to try to create it in that tenant and see if that works. So we created a container called, or we created the storage CWJG context. So let me go copy that out and then go back to the overview. Delete this, paste it in there, and then see if I can recreate it. If it doesn't, I'll move all the app registrations into here. So let's go here, default directory, switch directory, coding with JoeG. Wait a couple of seconds, create a resource, and then choose storage, create. You're currently signed in coding which does not have any subscriptions. You have other directories which you can switch to. I wonder why there's directories. Maybe I should just remove those from there. That means I have to change all the applications and everything, which I guess is fine if it's not working. Unless I can sign a subscription to this tenant. Let's take a look at that. Let's go home. Subscriptions. Choosing add subscription, but I think that's going to add a net new subscription. Yeah, that's not what I want. I'm going to probably have to just remove those tenants. And yeah, it looks like I might have to just add those clients to this subscription so that it gets everything in there. So let me just write down the names of everything in there so that I recreate them the right way. Don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. Fortunately, it just remembers the last one I have. App registrations. Okay, so just open up Notepad. And copy this out. I really don't care about things. I just kind of want the names be consistent across the board. Okay, so let's see what I do about deleting this tenant. So it, ow. So it, sorry for that shaking. I moved my knee and I just hit the table and it really hurt. Really hurt. I don't know how to remove the tenant. Let's see if there is a way to delete it from. I think I have to switch out of the directory before I delete it. So let's choose this. And then don't want that. Let's go back to home. And then let's see, tenant, properties. Yeah, that's the default one. That's the one I like, but I want to remove the other ones. So let's switch to, I don't even know what it's called. I'm assuming it's tenants, but I don't think that's what it's called. What does it list that in here? Directory. So let's see if we can choose directory. No, directory is not an option. Oh, it's because I chose resource group. Don't want that. Type. Directory. Nope, not that. IHC. API connections, app service plan. No, they're all here. This is the only one that it would be, but I know it's not that because that was something else I was playing with. Switch directory. Is there a way to delete the directories from here? No, but let's learn about them and see if there's a way to delete it. If not, I'll come back to that. Associate or add to your Azure Active Directory tenant before you begin. Associate a subscription. Change a directory. I'll come back and delete those. Let me just rename those tenants so that we don't get any name conflicts in it. Or actually, see if I can just delete those app registrations. We'll probably have to clean up the permissions and everything else. Let's go and I'll do that afterwards. Let's not wait for the offers to continue to show. I'll create a tenant just for the blob storage and then I'll clean up everything else afterwards. Switch directory. Oh, stop telling me to switch the offers. I don't want to do that. Let's do, where's my app registrations? App registrations. New registration. Azure Helpers.Storage.Test. Counts with this directory, single tenant. Yeah. Let's do a web response and that. And I think web response will do. Public client will return authentication response URL after authenticating user, providing this is now optional. Okay, let's just do that. Create the application. So I need app ID. Copying that off to a different screen. Azure Helpers.Storage.Test. App ID equals that. Tenant ID equals that. And then last is going to be secrets. So let's do this. I shall move you off the screen so no one sees this secret and click add new secret. And do storage, library, secret. Click add. It gave me a URL. I will bring back. I bring the screen back up for everyone. And then secret. So in order for me to use these three values, I need to edit the environment variables. So I will show them since they are going to be changed, but it's these three values here: Azure Client ID, Azure Secret, and Azure Tenant ID. So let me go and change those on a different screen. And those are the values we just copied off the overview. And the Azure Storage SDK authentication uses this when it connects locally. When it's on the site, it kind of knows what it's doing. So now I made the changes, we have to give it the permissions. So let's go with API permissions to it. You add permissions, and we want Microsoft Graph, I believe it was. No, Azure Storage. And we're going to do user impersonation. Click add permission. And I think that was it. Let's go back to the container and see if I need to grant it for that app. So where's my storage? Oh, did I delete the storage? I think I did. Coding with JoeG. Yes, I deleted the storage because we were going to try to recreate it in the other one. So let's go and create a new one. Use storage. Count. Click create. And coding with JoeG. We were going to call it coding with JoeG. Contacts, I believe it was. Let's check here. Coding with JoeG contacts, cool. And then type is storage general, read only. I don't want that. Let's do locally redundant just to save cost for me. Validation pass, hit create. Now, while it's generating, you don't have to do anything in the code because the code is already set up to do it. You just kind of need this in the container to go. Or I might have to do the permissions. So let's wait for this to start. And we will. Really amazing how sometimes you can try stuff and it doesn't work. Then you walk away and it magically works all again. Pardon for the pop up and down. I just changed positions in my chair. Kind of tired today. So let's create the container before I forget. And we wanted to call it contact images. And yes, I know this is hard coded. This was only our test at the point to make sure it was good. And then we'll clean it up. Create a container. Private, no anonymous is what ultimately we want. That's created. Let's see if I have to do anything in access controls. Add role assignment. Storage contributor. What's the part I got stumped on last time? There are no users. So I don't know if I need to do anything here for it. I don't think I need anything to do with that, so let's just get rid of that for now. Ultimately, I think we need to grant the web app to it, but cross that bridge when we get to it. And let's go here. So if we have this right, I'm probably going to restart here since I changed the environment variables. I don't know how often it restarts it or reloads those environment variables. So I'll just restart it here to double check. Apologize for the dog barking in the background. We must be getting another delivery again. You need a doorbell when you have a dog, right? Okay, it's reloaded. Now if I rerun this, by the time it gets here, see if we get an error or not. Let me open up a new one, get rid of that. Anything that's in the downloads already, nothing in there. Let's debug this and hope it worked fine. Let's debug this. And see how it does. Da-da-da. Fingers crossed, we figured it out. Hello World works. It's taking a little bit longer than it has. Ha! This is good. So we got better than we did last time. So now the message says this request is not authorized to perform this operation using this permission. Request is not authorized to perform this operation. Good. So we got a little bit better. So now it's just a kind of synchronizing the two. So let's go back here. I am going to minimize you so it doesn't appear on screen, but it still does. So let me just save this off in the meantime. So I remember those credentials. Save as. Save as, downloads, stream.txt. You can close you, and I'm not worried about you popping back up again. So let's go to here and take a look at what we got. So we got an access ID. We're saying we want it to get contributor access to it. Now we have to tell it that we have to tell this container or this storage account that we want to allow that other account access to it. It's not really another account, but that app registration. So app service, container instance, data factory, data share, function app, logic. App service. It only sees the web app as an app registered. Let's go and take a look at the permissions for our new app registration. Ooh, about to sneeze.